Aries, someone around you is testing how much pressure you can absorb before you finally say no. And the dangerous part is, you've been adapting to it so gradually that you almost stopped noticing. This week begins with emotional exhaustion showing up in practical ways. You may feel mentally scattered, physically drained, or increasingly irritated by obligations you used to tolerate without question. The Sun square Saturn early in the week forces you to recognize where responsibility has quietly become imbalance. You are not failing because you need limits. You are failing yourself if you continue pretending limits do not exist. Financial pressure, work expectations, or emotional labor dynamics become harder to ignore now. Mars in Taurus keeps building tension in your money and self-worth sector, and Pluto retrograde is exposing how certain group dynamics or social obligations have become emotionally transactional. Someone may only reach for you when they need stability. That realization lands differently this week. Midweek, Mercury trine Saturn helps you organize your thoughts more clearly. Conversations around family, housing, emotional expectations, or long-term security become easier to navigate once you stop trying to soften every truth before speaking it. You do not need to package honesty into something painless. Around the middle of the week, you may suddenly realize you've been waiting for permission to prioritize yourself. That awareness changes the tone of the rest of the week immediately. You become calmer, more deliberate, less reactive, and strangely enough, that calmness gives you more authority than emotional force ever did. Venus and Jupiter soften relationship energy later in the week, especially if someone has been trying to reconnect or show appreciation after distance. But Calum's warning here is simple. Do not confuse temporary warmth with permanent change. Watch consistency, not charm. By the weekend, you may feel yourself emotionally stepping back from something you once fought very hard to maintain. And honestly, that distance may be the first real sign of healing.
Aries, your tarot card is the Six of Cups. This week brings emotional memory back to the surface, not to trap you in the past, but to show you what still carries emotional meaning. Someone from your history may reappear emotionally, physically, or symbolically. But Aurelia gently warns, nostalgia is not always accuracy. You are remembering feelings, not necessarily reality. There is also healing around self-forgiveness here. You have been unusually hard on yourself about something that required growth, not punishment. The Six of Cups asks you to stop measuring your present self against older versions of your life that no longer exist. Some doors closed because your soul outgrew them, and that was not failure.
Aries, you get hexagram 31, Lake over Mountain, Influence. This hexagram speaks about emotional impact, attraction, persuasion, and subtle connection. This week, someone's emotional presence affects you more deeply than expected, but Lunara gently warns, influence moves both ways. Be careful what emotional atmosphere you keep surrounding yourself with. You are especially sensitive now to tone, energy, and emotional consistency. A relationship may deepen quietly this week through honesty instead of intensity. At the same time, you may realize certain people destabilize your emotional clarity simply through repeated unpredictability. Influence is not always loud. Sometimes it is simply what slowly changes your inner world over time.
Aries, your rune is Berkano. Berkano is the rune of renewal, healing, growth, and emotional restoration. This week asks you to stop treating recovery like weakness. You have been pushing yourself through emotional strain, as though endurance alone could solve everything. It cannot. Calum sees this rune encouraging gentler self-leadership. Something in your life now requires nurturing instead of force. Relationships improve through patience. Emotional healing improves through consistency. Growth does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it simply looks peaceful. This week required restraint more than reaction. Not every battle deserved your energy. Not every uncertainty required immediate resolution. And for many of you, the real shift happened quietly, the moment you stopped trying to carry what no longer belonged to you. Take note of what consistently drains you versus what restores you. That distinction matters far more now than temporary emotion. And before you go, leave a comment with the sign you relate to more lately, your sun sign or your rising sign. The difference may explain why this week felt the way it did. If this message helped bring clarity to your week, subscribe, like the video, and turn on the bell so you do not miss next week's forecast. And remember to watch your rising sign too. Very often, that is where the deeper emotional story is unfolding.